everybody. Welcome back to another fantastically exciting and maddening episode of the Black Tower podcast. We are a Will of Time podcast. We're insane in the membrane, and we have no clue what we're doing, which should be already abundantly obvious. But I am your recently newly tattooed or extra tattooed by Jean Mihail Andrew.
I am your soon to be tattooed sort of on Mihail because I'm getting a 4-hour block to work on my 3/4 sleeve. My tramp stamp's coming later. It's gonna be two dragons licking the wheel.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need the actual like infinity like snake, but take out part of it and just put in only taint.
That's right. Only taints.
No, instead of the people that put in live, laugh, love or whatever.
Yeah.
Treat their body like cheap home decor from
Taint.
Bath and Body Works or whatever. Which actually isn't really that cheap.
I am the never been tattooed, but will at some point in my life.
Virgin skin.
Yes, I have the virgin skin. My first one will probably be on my taint, though. Let's be honest.
I just
Bleach is getting
this picture of Daniel. Okay, guys, go for it.
All right, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. I need an eye ring right over my ring.
Booty hole bleach is getting expensive, so I'm just going to get them to use an enormous amount of just white ink.
It's gonna be glow in the dark ink. When I pull down my pants at night, it's just gonna be.
Yeah. So then you just bend over and pitch darkness, and it's the beacons have been lit. Gondor calls for aid.
Where was Gondor when the four fell?
When the foreskin fell?
That's what I said.
So this episode has started off great.
You ever wondered what would it be like to listen to the Black Tower podcast? This is pretty much, it's just like this.
Speaking of
nice
foreskins,
that we don't have a guest tonight, and we're not making them wait through all of this shit. Anyway, hi guys.
So speaking of foreskin,
I can't segue off of foreskin. I tried. I can't do it.
Well, speaking of foreskin, something that you can do without giving up the tip of your member is you can go over to blacktowerpod.com to get all things tainty. Yeah, that's right. It's the opposite surface of the body. And you can get all the taint you want from blacktowerpod.com, including our Discord. That's close enough. Hey, on autopsy diagrams, it's the opposite side. So
I mean, you're not wrong. I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. But you can go to our website and you can find our Discord, our Patreon, our merch. You can find a running playlist of our 5 most recent YouTube and podcast episodes there. You can get everything you possibly want there. And if you're into the shiny click-clacks that may or may not have healing and restorative properties on the aura in and around your hold, you can check out our official sponsor, the Crystal Barista, Josh's better half. I don't know why there was a pause there. I was trying to think of something more clever to say because I always say that and I just had nothing.
You hesitated. Why did you hesitate? No, guys, these are high quality gifts. Christmas is coming. Christmas is around the corner. And if you want to find a handful of trinkets for the next time you are seeking shelter in a roof mistress hold, it's a perfect thing to offer up. If you want to get a gift for that special someone.
Or if your taint is getting extremely uncleansed, and you need to cleanse it, leave some crystals out in the moonlight for a little while, and then just cleansed right up.
Right up there. Right up. Just put it right up in there.
Yep.
Don't do that. Actually, don't do that.
At the very least, make sure there's a string very, very well attached.
If you do that, you will be
at the very least,
make sure
you have good insurance with low copays if you do that.
Yeah.
Or a very sturdy string.
After you have
all of the above.
taken all the taint you can from our website, and you feel tainty and mad, well, you can go up to the Great Blight. Go to the greatglight.com.
Go to the what? Go to the
Great
great.
This is good. This is greatglight.com. Talk to Nablus and tell him I sent you.
No, we're not drunk yet. We're just all incredibly tired. I have been up since
True.
like midnight, and
This
then went to the
episode's gonna
gym,
be great.
and then worked.
This episode's already fucked.
Yeah.
So you go to the
Um,
greatblight.com. The Great Blight has some super amazing things. I've actually already referred a number of people who have not read the books to the Great Blight because they start looking up characters and
you go,
inadvertently running
stop.
across spoilers.
Hey, stop doing that
Um,
unless you're doing it on Great Blight. I don't.
And then go to Great
Hey,
Blight
stop
because
that.
Great Blight has character bios that are book specific that will go in progression of the book, so you do not have to get any spoilers.
Oh, we're gonna have to buy Great Light now.
Great
Blight.
Great Blight. Just give me the Great
Oh, man.
Blight. I'll have Adrian look it up.
And after you're done with the Great Blight, make sure that you go over to AdamandEve.com and use the code Black Tower. Black Tower 21. They'll
Don't
go
do
ahead and they'll make sure that you get collared for a great price.
Jesus Christ. Oh. So, a couple exciting things happened here recently for us as we're recording this on the 14th of December. This previous Friday, which Friday should be something that you know very well, is whenever new episodes of the TV show come out for the Wheel of Time TV show. We had the privilege and the honor of hosting the Twitter watch party. It was an incredible experience.
Phenomenal.
I said it in the pre-recording. I'm gonna say it here again. If you're listening and you're like, "Oh, those guys were sassy to me on Twitter," if we were sassy to you, you deserved it. Get the fuck over it. You'll be fine.
Especially
Do me a
the
favor and cry me a river and then build a bridge and get over
no,
it.
don't cry me a river because then Russia will invade it.
Speaking of land invasions, tonight's topic
Well, before we get there,
is
because we still
going
have
to
other
be
stuff.
given to you after
Oh,
other stuff.
after the other
Yeah.
stuff that we need to do that we
Yeah.
keep forgetting to do.
Yes.
That we
But
are
before
not
we
gonna
do that,
forget to do.
Talking about things that happened this past weekend as we're recording, What a Holiday was a resounding success. The initial goal was $7,500 raised for the Lightweaver Foundation. Last I saw, it was at 10,700. It may be a little higher now. And we've already gotten word back.
Yes,
and by we,
absolutely.
I mean that's Malky Rob has done an incredible amount, if not most of the work, along with Cheyenne from World Hoppers podcast. And then I was there, kind of. That's about the
I
extent
was
of my contributions.
around.
But it was an incredible time. It was a 24-hour charity live stream, just like we did last year, raising funds to help support the Lightweaver Foundation, which of course was founded by Brandon Sanderson and his wife Emily. And the point of contact there is actually his sister Jen. And they're fantastic people. And the whole What a Holiday event actually got a shout out by Brandon in his weekly update before What a Holiday. So
it was a great time. It was a great show. It was a resounding success. Our hearts and our congratulations go out to Rob. Seriously, well done, sir. Well done. We're very happy for you, and we're very happy for the continued success. And we wish for the continued success of the What a Holiday event every holiday.
yeah.
And
if you like things that start with what,
we wish you a what a holiday. We wish you.
if you like things that start with what, in the show notes or description below is a link to WoTCon. Go and check it out. All the information is there. It's coming July 8th through 10th of 2022 in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to be there. We hope to see you there. Now, we have had some new additions to the Black Tower.
It's true.
And you may have seen your names in the post-episode credits on YouTube because they are there. However, we promised to shout you out in an episode, and we are actually going to do that this time because we keep getting too distracted by pre-show talk. And like literally like the last 3 episodes, I think at least one of us has said like, hey, we got to remember to do the Patreon shout outs.
And Andrew twice and me once.
Yeah.
Josh doesn't remember shit, but the rest of us.
So
I love you, Josh.
Coming in
Speak the
as as a new addition to the family members, we have Black Tower Power. So
who is an actual Black Tower family member.
He is.
This is true. So welcome to the family, Black Tower Power. At the rank of soldier, we have Daniela. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
It's just Danielle.
Is it just Danielle?
Yep. She was at the
like,
Gathering Madness in Ogden.
Not just Danielle, but it is Danielle. So thank you and congratulations on coming into the rank of soldier. We are bringing in a dedicated as well, Rachel. So thank you for coming to the Black Tower. Your name is on the
Rachel
rosters.
Sedai.
Rachel Sedai.
And
Willkommen.
where
We will find you an Ashaman Wada very soon. Maybe you can walk around and pick one, but you must ask for consent first.
So wear the sword with pride. And we also have the addition of 2 new Ashamanses. So these folks get the sword and the dragon pins. We got to welcome he who comes with the wine. Thank you so much for your support of the Black Tower podcast, and welcome to the Black Tower.
Welcome, Ashaman comes with the wine.
And also Lisa, welcome to the rank of Ashaman. Welcome to the Black Tower. Thank you so much for your support. We cannot thank our patrons enough for your support. It's always incredible and always blows our mind just how supportive our patrons are and how earnestly cool like all of you are.
Just
every
to
time we
give you
chat
an
with anyone,
idea,
it's like epic.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, this show does not run at this capacity without Patreon support. We have reached a new tier of podcastership, of YouTubership, of whatever you want to call it, in which if tomorrow we lost all our patrons for whatever reason, the show would regress because there's no way that we could continue to run it at this level without patron support. So everything that we are, you guys are heavily invested in it, and we are tremendously grateful to you for that.
Yeah. And speaking of being incredibly grateful, at the time of recording, we are 24 subscribers away from 500 on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please go ahead and do so. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not, you can get to our YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search Black Tower Podcast, or just go to youtube.com/Black Tower Podcast. And please subscribe. The more subscribers we have, the more people get to enjoy this content along with you. If you're enjoying it, if you're not, and you're just barely tolerating us, then misery loves company. So bring somebody else. Into the fold.
Hey, I'm just barely tolerating these guys too.
I don't tolerate you. That's why we only talk once a week.
Joke's on you. I'm barely tolerating me.
Oh, that took a left turn.
Did it though?
Yeah. And then over on the Twitter front, we cannot say how shocked we are to be 85 followers away from 4,000. That is at least 3,998 more than I ever thought we would get when this thing started. So to everybody that follows us on Twitter, that subscribes to us on YouTube, that just tolerates our very existence. What did my tongue really just get in the way?
This is it's going to be one of those.
But thank you all
nights.
so much for your support. It definitely helps keep us motivated to keep making content. And if you have ideas on how we can do something differently or improve or whatever, then please definitely let us know. If you're not in our Discord, hop in our Discord. We have a whole channel dedicated just for Black Tower Podcast feedback. Anything from topic ideas to topics you want us to readdress. We've had people say, hey, this other show covered this topic. It'd be great if you covered this topic as well. We want to hear your perspective on it. and we do read all of that and we work it in as early as we can. So, but you didn't come here to listen to us talk about ourselves for 25-ish minutes. We have an actual topic.
We didn't start for like
we got to go edit.
an
We got to go
actual
edit
5
and
or
be
10.
like, if you don't want to hear the plugs, go ahead and fast forward.
We'll just make chapters on YouTube.
That's what I should do. Just put one like, I'm sick of hearing your self promo bullshit. Where does this start? Just click here.
We can do that. Chapters. You can do chapters.
Oh.
Exactly where the spoiler warning starts.
Boom.
So, for those of you that are listening live, our patrons, which you get for as little as $1 a month. I don't know why I keep saying as little. As cheap as $1 a month. Is that better? I
You
feel
say
like
as little as $1 a month.
I
because of
start
the
saying
commercial.
this stuff and I get so like
Because of the
self-conscious of
commercial, yeah.
exactly what I'm saying and how like bad it may come off because somebody's going to take it negatively.
Actually, it's not as little. They say for as low as $1 a month. That is
I
the
don't know.
phrase that is used. It's for as low as $1 a month.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I don't think cheap is bad because there's plenty of things that I can be very cheap on. There are other things I'm not.
Sure.
And the only reason I don't have the better stuff is because I am not spending that amount of money. Because I definitely want a new graphics card. I'm just not jiving with the current graphics card market right now. It's just not happening. Anyway, if you are in our Discord and you're one of our patrons, you've already seen where earlier today I put out a message that I hope you're wearing your armor for this episode because today we are talking about battles. Battles in the Wheel of Time and what makes these battles so interesting, so intriguing, so dynamic beyond just the common action sequences. And before we dive fully in to this full discussion, we got to make sure you're protected. So we're going to don some extra armor, a spoiler condom, if you would, you know, and make sure that nobody gets spoiled. So here we go.
Welcome to the Black Tower, a Wheel of Time podcast. All right, let's check this one. This podcast will likely be spoiling books 1 through. Oh, what's this? An envelope addressed to me. No name, though. Let's see what's inside. Oh, my. This podcast will likely spoil all the books in the series, and apparently being a Patreon will expose you to information that should be left unseen. Protect yourself by pulling that spoiler condom all the way on. And I need a drink. That's way more of Andrew than I have ever wanted to see. Why would you braid it down there?
Oh, God.
It's manscaping. Get with it, okay? You've heard
Yeah.
of vajazzling. Now
Yeah,
You ever,
it's fashion, Karen. Look it up.
Do you ever listen to Christopher Titus?
Dolls the ballsling. I don't know.
The ballsling.
No.
Bedazzling.
So bedazzling.
Oh,
Ball
disco
dazzling. Ball dazzling.
disco balling.
Disco balling.
Disco balling.
Hashtag disco
Yeah.
balling. This is the
Well,
quality
it's
content
gonna
you
change-
paid for.
It's gonna change the like context of the question. Like, oh, he's a baller. Like, he's got shiny stones on his
What is he, a
balls. Like, really?
disco baller.
I feel like that's like counterintuitive, like in the current age. Or is it
Battles!
so niche now that it's cool again? Which I don't know. I feel like it all
guy
got
knows
battles,
what's up.
battles. It
Battles,
takes battles to
battles.
be in a battle.
So
Takes
here's a
disco
question.
balls to be actually disco balls give you away in a battle. Don't do that.
Don't bring.
So here's a
disco balls.
completely unfair question to
Back to
ask you to
America.
count something that you haven't beforehand. Very quickly, Josh and Dano, do you know how many named battles there are in the Wheel of Time series? Named battles.
Named battles.
battles.
I'm gonna say
I'll give you a hint. It is more
40.
than 15 and less than 40.
Oh, I was gonna say 42. So let's go 32. Let's just cut the edge off.
I'm
Okay.
gonna $1 in. I'm gonna say 33.
Oh,
Okay. If our unofficial or official fact checker, it's
69.
if he wasn't driving, I would ask Morshadi if they.
He's
knew.
actually
But
he's
he's
actually not driving anymore.
He's not driving
He parked.
anymore.
Oh, Morshadi, do you know?
He
You don't
doesn't.
know.
It's a completely
He
unfair
specifically
question.
just
Without
said he doesn't.
Oh, did I just miss everything?
No, he's posting
posting
in the
elsewhere
wrong channel, like a madman.
because I love him, but
Oh, I was like, where is?
He might need some wine.
So if we were going by Price's Right rules, you would win, Josh, because you did dollar fuck Daniel.
$1, Bob.
The answer is 39.
39.
There are 39.
Why did you
named
throw
battles.
out 15? Fuck you. Such a
didn't
low
wanna make it
number
too
for
easy.
it to be 40. Like,
I saved you from 42, which you would have busted. So you at
well,
least
if
had a
I
shot.
had said 42, I'm guessing he would have either said 41 or 43, and then we both would have busted, and it would have been fine because he would have
That's
dollared me.
fair.
You would have dollar billed me.
So
Now this does
there are
include
39
some.
named battles.
Yes.
Yes.
And this does include some of the older battles that we don't actually see, as well as battles that we do see.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I was not actually
Yeah.
thinking in my head about
So
any battles that we
it,
don't see.
for instance,
Yeah.
the Battle of Dumais Wells is a named battle
Yes.
within the book series.
The Battle of
There
Tarman
is-
Gaiden.
There's a battle where Matt like decimated a Shan Chan patrol.
Mm,
Does not count in this number, correct? Because
Correct.
that's not a named
Correct.
battle.
Yeah, there are at least
But it doesn't-
100 actual skirmishes and battles in the books, but you
But it
know,
does
many
include things
of
like-
them are unnamed.
yeah, but it does include things like, the Battle of the Shining Walls.
Yep, or the Battle of Manetherin. Or
Yes.
Manetherin's Last Stand is, I think, what it would be really called. But
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton. So like 39 named battles, and there's still far more battles that we see in the series. It's just the named ones.
Right,
just
right.
the ones
one.
that somebody
Tell
was
more.
like, hey, we should name this shit.
Yeah.
How many
Which is
named
interesting,
weapons
'cause it-
are there in the series?
I don't know. I can think of Kalendor and
No,
Justice.
It's hundreds of thousands. Everybody names their weapons. They just don't tell you
okay.
what it
What
is.
about names that we see? Okay. Semantics. Anyway, we're going to talk about like what is it about so many of these battles that makes them so entrancing? I mean, so let's start with what may be the most obvious one, near and dear to our hearts, giving our podcast namesake. And we did a whole podcast
Battle of the
episode.
Shining Walls.
Yeah, that's the one. Andrew, get the wine.
We got a guy now, an Ashman. He comes
we
with the
do.
wine.
Ashaman comes with the wine. Your duty
Wait,
is
if he
don't
comes with the
have
wine,
it.
does that mean that like we bought wine and he came along with it, or did he bring
No,
that
That
wine?
means
no,
if he's
no,
not
no.
bringing the wine, he's in trouble.
No,
Was it like-
that means no. It means that if he doesn't have wine, then it doesn't matter. He ain't coming.
So he's got the opposite of whiskey dick.
He's got wine wiener.
Wine wiener. I like
I love
it.
Okay, so Dumais
But yeah,
Wells-
you guys talk. I'm gonna go get a drink.
you
Oh yeah, we
talk,
didn't take a
I'll
break to
drink.
go and do that, did we?
We didn't do that.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
Dumais
Siege of
Wells.
the Pillars of the Sky is one of those. But yes, Dumais Wells, the only battle in the entire series that is described as a meat grinder.
Well, it is okay. So it is like. Oh,
It's the debut of Rand's backup dancers.
yeah, it is. And that was nicely put.
Dalen.
That was nice. Grinder,
Grinder, you say?
you say? Yes,
This is why you should be a
Taim on the
patron so you can
battlefield.
be in the live chat.
Taim on the
Yeah.
battlefield looking at Shido. Swipe right on his ass. Boom, his head blows up. Swipe right. Boom, his head blows up. No,
Jesus Christ.
so Dumais Wells, Dumais Wells is an absolute, as you said, it's an absolute meat grinder, man. Like it is just the Shido are absolutely destroying everything. Gawain and the younglings go in there. Perrin and the forces of who was it with them?
With who?
Perrin
Was
was
Perrin?
with,
Did he have the winged guards with him?
the winged guards. That's right. And you had some. They went in against the Shido, but the thing is this was almost like a three-way battle. Mayan.
So he had He had 2 rivers, 300 2 riversmen, 500 Karyanen, 200 wing guards, 200 Asaman, 9 Saladar Aes Sedai, 94 IL wise ones, and approximately 6,000 IL.
Well,
and 1,000 wolves.
That's the total number of. No, you're right. That's right. That's what he came with.
Yeah. So of the IL, 1,000 were Fardar Asmai, and the remainder were Siswayaman, Spears of the Dragon.
Which, by any other standard, that's a winning hand. That's like when you're playing poker and you bust out with a straight flush and you're like, shit, yeah, I got this. I'm going to win. And the dealer busts out with a royal flush, because what you're doing is going up against the entire clan of the Shido. Which
40,000 Shido IL.
That is
including
ultra fucking creepy, Daniel.
Yeah. It included 300 wise ones from the Jumai, from wise ones of the Jumai Shido.
And the wise ones
and they
were
could all channel.
They were channeling against their foes. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, all 300 could channel. And that's in addition to.
Go do it.
Fucking English.exe just fully broke down and stopped working for me.
So
I can only giggle.
Can channel,
and
they are
and
actively channeling at the non-Shido combatants, which in this case also included a handful of Aes Sedai who were holding Rand hostage.
39. Hey, look, 39. The number showed up again.
Oh, it's going to be one of those.
And then another 582 younglings. So, like, people we can ignore pretty much.
Basically.
Because they're led by Galwin, so they're automatically ineffective.
Thank you.
Actually, the younglings are extremely effective at this point.
It's got every aspect of one of the great battles from Legend without jumping the shark, as it were. You've got Shido jumping the shark. Are you not familiar with that term?
I am not. I'm not familiar with that phrase.
Shit. Well, fuck.
I'm familiar with like jumping the bones.
I'm familiar with that.
Making me feel old again. No, jumping the shark.
I'm familiar with that. Shut your stupid face.
Jumping the shark is a term that came from the Happy Days TV show, and there was a scene in which he was water skiing or surfing, and he jumped over a shark, and it just ruined it. It was like the suspension of disbelief was so far gone that people lost it. It was done. They hated it. No more. It was.
Well, don't feel old. I remember Happy Days. And I remember loving it. I just don't remember.
Okay. So when you jump the shark, you ruin it, and it's done, and people just can't. It's broken, and people can't get back into it. What I love about Demise Wells is that it's got all of the heroic battle tropes without going too far. You've got the Shido, who are evil for all intents and purposes. They are attacking in what they feel misguided. That's a better way to say it. They are attacking in what they feel is an overwhelming advantage. They do have an overwhelming advantage. You've got Perrin and his forces that are like, and to quote Andrew,
be fair, they're actually not attacking at all. They are defending.
True.
At Demise Wells, the Shido are being attacked. At Demise Wells, the Shido
they start off attacking because Savannah is swayed to try to capture Rand as a bargaining chip. So they they move in to attack the Aes Sedai and the younglings.
Oh no, you're totally right. That's right. No, I apologize because they're attacked.
Who's tainted, me or you?
Well, no, they then get attacked by Perrin and followers and the Aes Sedai, but no, 100% they are attacking the Aes Sedai of the White Tower and the younglings.
And with those numbers, how could they lose? Like they weren't going to lose that battle. There's no way.
And then you have Perrin who shows up and he goes,
I'm gonna bite him in the ass.
This is my buddy Rand. I can't not go down there. And he's going down there. To quote Andrew, they're going down there to die. Like they're literally going down there to die an honorable death. And things do not go well for anybody but the Shido until for the first
Shido,
time.
it's not going well for them either. They
I
just have more people.
It's like a meat grinder. It's a meat grinder.
They're Russia. They just have more bodies to throw.
I'm glad you said it before I did.
Jesus.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, oh yeah, they're just using Russian tactics.
Yeah.
Like World War II Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's worked for them in the past, right? They've always had overwhelming numbers. They do have a more capable and more skilled force than
that
most.
is correct.
But it is
so
just
again, this
bloody,
is
brutal...
where I will actually, I'm not a Shido apologist, but I am a little bit of a youngling apologist here for a moment, because according to the thing, all the Shido are supposed to be dope ass warriors, and they are. I'm not trying to say that they aren't, but the younglings are holding their goddamn own.
It's true. They do
against these Shido warriors. And again, I will never, ever, ever once say that Gawain did the right thing or that he's ever more than just a shit ass character. But his younglings are actually dope in this battle.
Well, and I will give props to Gawain in this particular scenario. The only time that we see him shine is in these battlefield scenarios.
Yep.
100%. In these battlefield scenarios until Tarmangayden.
Yes.
It's almost like he was raised to do one thing and one thing only. And he's put
Randall
into
Thor.
Yes, that's obviously. No, but
that is answer one. But answer 1A is
exactly. But
is protect his sister at all costs and be really good at fighting. Yep.
I mean, 100%. But yeah. So you get the scenario in which they're all just killing the shit out of each other, which is literally just what they're doing. They're all just killing the shit out of each other. And when the day seems lost, when the Shido are closing in and things are just not going well for them at all, for the defenders, a gateway opens up.
On your left.
On your left. And for the first time in 3,000 years, men who can wield Saidin show up and single-handedly save the day. Single-handedly.
For everyone except the Shido.
Well, they show up, they put up a big old shield similar to episode 1. They have Gungan shields. And they're like, okay, cool.
Well, and some of their friendly forces. Because there are friendly forces that are caught in the onslaught. Because Perrin is pleading to Rand to have them raise the dome. It's like, we've got we've got the L-word forces out there. We need to let them in.
We got friendlies.
Lion face. Lemon face.
And I'm pretty sure Rand's like, raise the dome. That's a good idea. Hey, Time. Do it.
Well, and again, that's what you get. You get this. I cannot wait to see this in the television show, because for me, reading this book and knowing I was literally
in my head about to ask you whether you think that we're going to get this in the television show, and then I was like, wait.
If we don't get,
if they didn't, I would kill a man. Like,
that's where one of the best phrases come from.
I know, right?
Kill.
Followed by the second best phrase: kneel or you will be knelt.
Yes. Ugh. But continue your statement, Josh. Sorry, you were.
So
can't wait to see it in the television show.
I can't wait to see it in the television show, because at this point in time, Taim has promised Rand a force that will match the White Tower and exceed the White Tower. Mm-hmm. Now he shows up with, I think it's only like 100 soldiers and dedicated and a handful of Ashaman.
Something like that.
Andrew's the numbers guy.
I believe it's around 200.
So 200 men who can channel, and he just pops in. He's like, okay, Ashaman form ranks. Boom, boom, chung, 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 chung. And then they're like, create a perimeter. Boom, 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 boom. They do this, and I want to see that
the precision,
military
about 200.
precision.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that military precision, and I want Taim to show up, and I want him to be smug as fuck, because not only is he saving Rand's life, but he's showing the effectiveness of what he's been doing at the Black Tower, and he deserves to be smug at this point in time.
Well, imagine what it looks like for the Aes Sedai, who are like, yeah, if you're doing this, you need to move your hands around. And the Ashman are just standing there. Whatever Randland's version or the Black Tower's version of attention is. Not really moving. And they're just people. They're just not being people anymore.
No, yeah, right.
1 second. He was there a second ago. I don't know where he went.
They're getting pink misted.
So, okay. So here's one thing that
I know it's been since 69, but too soon.
Okay, sorry.
Here's one thing that I will say about Dumai's Wells. I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned this before. Probably I have. Because we've talked about Dumai's Wells a number of times.
So much.
One of the things that I actually like about Dumai's Wells, which is one thing that I like about many battles in the Wheel of Time, which is of course our topic, is that you never know. You never know what's going to happen next. You never know what would have happened if what happens next doesn't happen. And you're never quite sure what's exactly going on at every instance. Like, for example, sorry, I shouldn't actually say that. Sometimes it does actually make it really clear what would have happened if X didn't happen, but most of the time it leaves it a mystery. Like, for example, Dumai's Wells. You have the Ashaman show up. You also have Rand, one of, if not the absolute most powerful channeler alive today. Frees himself from the Aes Sedai minutes before the Ashaman show up. Would Rand have been able to just decimate the fucking Shido and just take everybody out? Maybe. Who goddamn knows? We don't get the opportunity to see Rand just go off on Samael because the Ashaman show up instead. And again, I'm not saying that I'm like sitting here being like, oh, the Ashaman didn't need to be there. No, it was epic and they absolutely fucking needed to be there. Be there.
Probably a really good thing we didn't. Because the Rand that comes out of the box is Darth Rand.
Yeah,
it is.
And if we thought Natram's burrow was bad, could you imagine the effects of Rand bale firing 40,000 threads out of the pattern in an instant?
Well, and also, again, is it right after or right before? No, it's right after. Maybe not right after. Soon-ish after that we see him call down lightning on the Shanshan and take out a number of his own forces too. So, like, let's be honest, it's not even very long after that we see Darth Rand go, you know what's nice? Death en masse. So, like, we probably don't want to see Rand try and take the Shido out there. But at the same time, we never get the chance. It's an interesting thing where, my personal opinion on battles in the Wheel of Time, and one of the reasons that they're so dynamic to me, is so many things happen and you get so many questions and you get so many mysteries of what would have happened, what can happen, what will happen, what is happening, like all of these different things. And, you know, as I said, on the very, very rare occasion you do actually get, you know, Rodel Ituralde being like, all of my forces are going to die and I'm going to be dead in 87 seconds. And then 20 seconds into that, Rand shows up and you're like, no, you would have been dead. That's on 100% guarantee, but you didn't. But most of the time when you're reading a battle in the Wheel of Time, I appreciate the fact that it's always it's almost always left as a mystery. What would have happened if this hadn't? What would have happened if that hadn't? What would have happened if, would they have won if Matt hadn't showed up? Would they have won if Rand hadn't showed up? Would they have, what is going on here and how badly are they losing versus how badly are they winning? And then, of course, this new variable enters and it changes everything.
I love that you're not directly quoting, but you're essentially discoursing on what Matt has said about battles.
Mm-hmm.
Everything always changes. The best plan lasts until the first arrow leaves the bow.
Well, we know that is Murphy's Law.
Yep.
All bets are off, my guy. Yep. Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how many of your soldiers are going to shit themselves. You don't know how many of your soldiers are going to not stick to the plan. You don't know how many of their soldiers are going to just be better or worse or whatever the case may be. And so you even see that with Elaine later on in the books, where she's hired mercenaries, and mercenaries will leave other mercenaries alive on the battlefield as a professional courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, excuse me, what the hell are you doing? And they're like, they're mercenaries. We're cut from the same cloth. I mean, we wouldn't want them doing that to us.
Just because they are a bad guy does not mean they are a bad guy.
And I love Elaine.
I also
she gets totally badass here when she's like, I pay you to kill them. You will kill them.
Well, I also love one of them even kind of says, if we leave them alive, you can pay them later. Isn't that like a line that one of them says? Like in defense of their actions?
Yes.
And I love that in some ways, is like,
it
we
makes
work
sense
for money. Yeah. If I kill their loyal soldiers, but leave the mercenaries alive, that's just more people for your army that you can pay later. And you're like, oh my God, I haven't thought of it like that before.
What he who comes with the wine just said in the live chat, I would love for Mad Dog Mattis to be somewhere in the back of Matt's mind. And if you disagree with that, I'm going to encourage you to be very careful.
You know
about
also
what
has
you
to
say.
be there then.
No. I was going to say
has to be there.
I was going to say that Mattis learned it from Matt, not the other way around. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. But I would still love Mattis's experience to be in Matt's head. And like some random part of the back of his head is like, I really wish I had a Moab right now.
Well, and of course, again, I think that Matt is one of the reasons that we love Matt. And one of the reasons that he's so good at battles is that he literally walks around in battle with Mad Dog. He's got Patton. He's got fucking, General Grant and General Lee and also General Sherman. Like, he's got every fucking general that you've ever had.
Yes.
Probably got old Stonewall in there too.
Right, a little bit of Stonewall. Yeah. No, he's got every single,
which is why he's so cautious about friendly fire.
So
you know what sucks like worse than getting shot with a smoothbore musket? Surviving the shot to die of fucking pneumonia.
Yep.
I mean, by all means, like, it was probably for the better, to be honest with you. But still, like, that's a sucky way to die. Like, I survived the gunshot.
It is.
I hear.
But,
no, and regardless of bad people, we don't ever
Alexander
want them
the Great,
to die
Julius
horribly. Yeah, no, I mean, like, again, every general that you've
Genghis
ever
Khan,
heard of,
Kublai
Genghis
Khan.
Khan.
Yeah, like
the stories of Gilgamesh are just stories of Matt.
Fucking. Yep.
I love that we've veered into Matt, because you can't have an episode of battles and not talk about Matt. And frankly, any other platform would be talking about Matt this whole time. But we got a hard on for Demise Wells, so go away,
dude. I'm always hard.
It was our debut, and boy, did we leave an imprint. A nice, big, soggy red imprint.
One of the things,
big dick print from the big black tower.
The bigger, blacker.
Is that the Shido? I'm a mushroom stamp their forehead. What?
The biggest, blackest tower.
It definitely left a mark. So here's the deal. So one of the true beautiful things that I love about Matt is how much he complains about how little fighting the Band of the Red Hand does, how much money it costs to pay them and train them. So he starts talking about, he's complaining about how expensive it is to continually have to buy new arrows because he wants his people drilling with those crossbows. And he wants that military precision. He wants them when they start getting up on those crossbows, he wants them to not think about it anymore. It's muscle memory. He wants them to just boom, choom, boom, choom, boom, and just go into town. And they do, because he spends hours every day making sure that not only does he have the best trained force, but he has the most prepared force. Yeah. And that's one of the things that set, different aspects of the U.S. military apart, is that,
and again, Jamie's on point. Sweat more, bleed less.
Exactly. And so Matt actually makes a comparison. He talks about how the cost of keeping a military force up to snuff or superior in a lot of ways is so expensive, but he's not willing to sacrifice the coin it takes to make sure that his guys live to see another day.
And because he's responsible for them.
Exactly.
And what a lot of people don't realize, responsible for them.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that the battle is fought every single day on the training field, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours before you ever take the life of another soldier.
Now, again,
a fun fact about real life?
I do it.
I understood the difference between cover and concealment, but what really drove home the lesson was thinking I was behind cover when it was actually partial concealment and catching a sim round to the dick. It's a really good way to learn distinctions about what will and will not protect you. If it won't protect you from a sim round, it's not protecting you from anything else.
Yep. Well, and of course, this is one of the things that I love about Matt. And Mazrim Taim is the fact that I feel like those two guys legitimately understand both aspects of fighting. Actually, I take that back. I think that Matt understands both aspects of fighting. Mazrim Taim understands the first one and disregards the second one and whatever. But anyway, Matt, as we've already talked about, goes, every day we're going to drill crossbows. Every day we're going to drill spears. Every day we're going to drill X, Y, and Z. Your time is going to be spent mastering what you're actually going to need when we start the battle. Then the battle starts, first arrow's fired, all shit goes to hell. And he goes, cool, so what do we have to do now? Because I've given you the skills to survive every day since we got to this point, but I still also need to give you the strategy to survive as it changes. Taim, I feel, very much has the same idea of training happens every day. We train for the battle. We train for Tarman Gaiden every single day at the Black Tower, and we do everything with the one power. We do everything with Sidene. We do everything with we train every day with throwing fireballs without going ahead and throwing our hands. We train every day with making the ground explode. We train every day with making people, that rock explode, which represents somebody's head. Now, I definitely think that he does less when he actually gets into the battle of like, oh shit, everything went wrong. We need to figure out how to go ahead and survive. He's just like, some of you will die, and that is a risk I'm willing to take.
Something I thought about.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Demise Wells is a good example of that half expected, half unexpected battle. right? This is a good example of you're catching up, you're about to face them, you don't know exactly what you're about to face, and everybody is prepared but also kind of caught off guard. So there's two good examples. One we see in the books and one we hear about in the books that I think demonstrate the other ends of battles. And I would like us to shift gears into the ambush battle, the fully unexpected by one side battle. And I can think of no better example than the Battle of Tar Valon, when the Shan Chan launch a raid against Tar Valon. Because, obviously the Ashaman crushed it, fighting off 40,000 Shido Hail is one thing.
But they knew what they were walking into.
Yeah. And so like even in training, or at least the first couple of times going through training, there's a whole new pucker, oh shit factor when they're just standing around watching. It's been like 8 hours. You're bored as fuck. You've pissed in the same hole 6 times because they told you, don't you dare leave. And then suddenly shit pops off. Things start exploding. The ground starts shaking. The building starts shaking. And this is what happens in 1000 at the White Tower while Egwene is held captive and has swayed a lot of the White Tower to her side. But this is like Egwene's defining moment in showing the White Tower itself. Like, no. You think Elida is an Amerlin? Let me show you an Amerlin. Hey, Igor, hand me my rod. Because this is a full ambush battle where the Shan Chan,
Why does Igor have your rod?
I don't know.
Igor always has your rod.
Yes, master.
You don't have an Igor?
Sorry.
Well, I mean,
find an Igor right now and give him your rod.
So I was rewatching like our YouTube trailer again, and I forgot about the thing where like I was like, Starscream is just a budget Igor. But yeah, so you have this whole battle where the Shan Chan, they've scouted out, they know the forces they're facing. They're familiar with dealing with opposing force channelers. They know when they're attacking. They know where they're attacking. And they have done this shit so many times. They have it down to a fucking pinprick science. And the only thing that throws any kind of wrench in their plans and still doesn't even result in a total defeat for them, just makes them back off, is Egwene. Where Egwene and the rest of the White Tower have no clue what's going on. And until Egwene steps up and is like, yeah, we kind of need to fucking do something.
And unforks herself, as Recapacidai has coined. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Unforks herself?
Because she'd been dosed with fork root.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And so on the spot,
of
she links with a bunch of accepted. She's like,
and
listen
officers.
here, you're in the shit now. I don't give a shit what your rank and station is. This is how you link. Do it right now. Give me the thing. And she's able to channel through them, even though
she doesn't unfork herself at all.
Fuck.
She just grabs onto some other strands.
Semantics. You and your
unforks herself makes me think of The Good Place. So shut your mouth. And
wait, so like, here's one of the things, like, as much as you may love or hate the Shan Chan, whatever, it doesn't matter. When it comes to planning and executing battle tactics, the Shan Chan are like, if they're not number one, they're number two, because they have the experience. And they coordinate this attack where they're going to have Damane on the back of Tel'Raken flying around, blasting holes in the side of the White Tower so that they can insert forces at above ground levels.
That's essentially them coming in with airstrikes and dropping in Halo special forces.
Yeah.
It's like you guys
bunker buster
that.
Bombs followed by paratroopers.
They're literally
just
like
ODST.
air superiority.
It'll bust the bunker underneath the bunker you want to bust.
All right, Tony.
All right.
But it's like, honestly, like, as much as the Shanchan have a
Biggest
glaring
compliment Andrew's ever
aspect,
given me in the world.
yeah, as much of a glaring blot on the Shanchan as there is with the whole like we put people in slavery thing. When it comes to military prowess, the Shanchan are hands down fucking impressive.
Yes.
And I think some of that is to drive home just how effective the armies of Otter Hawkwing are, because they're not doing stuff that is completely new. There may be new twist on some old ideas, but these are, well, minus the Chandlers, these are the tactics of Otter
Even
Hawkwing.
then. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, even
exactly.
then, probably, yeah.
The-
So
it's
it's
interesting too. It's interesting too to see that the greatest tacticians, the greatest tactical minds in the Wheel of Time spend their time preserving the lives of their own soldiers, which I think is an important distinction to make. Matt's first hand at leading a force, a segment of soldiers, is him basically trying to keep them out of trouble. The first time we're introduced, well, you know what I mean.
It's trying to keep himself out of trouble, and he just keeps
No,
collecting people.
he
But
sees-
yes,
he
I
sees
agree with
people
that.
going
I
over the
agree with
ridge.
that.
And he's like, there are people over the ridge that will kill the fuck out of you. You need to come with me now. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes, we're going this way.
Yeah.
Away from the bullets. No,
As I said, he keeps on trying to keep himself out and keeps on like grabbing people on his way to
you
to
went
the
back
safe
to Matt.
zone.
We're on Egwene.
no, I know. Hold on. I'm going there with this. The first time.
Well, if you're gonna
you see-
come. God, I'm tired of waiting.
Stop edging Andrew.
That's what she
Jesus.
said.
I've never heard that in my life.
The first time.
Stop edging Andrew?
No. I mean, well, yeah, but
The first time we are introduced to Rodel Ideralde is when he has a plan to slap the Shanchan in the face and draw them out of the city with a low attrition rate. He wants to do the maximum amount of damage to them and the least amount of damage to him. And so he essentially sends his forces that way. It's run away. But we're not going to call it run away. We're going to call it tactical retreat to draw them out. And then he skirmishes with them
hoorah, Marine Corps.
for a low attrition battle. Egwene
I'm sorry,
have,
Marines. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Egwene doesn't have the option of having a low attrition battle. But what she does have the option is shoring up her position, strengthening her position. And so she's got a full circle of granted, accepted, and novice women who can channel.
I think they're
But
predominantly
she's also
novices,
got
They're
she's
predominantly
also got
novices,
Vora's Sangreal in her hand, and she is at the top of the White Tower channeling like
Boom.
nobody's
Boom.
ever seen it.
Boom.
And
Boom.
in that moment
Still on the 22nd floor.
wins the respect of the Green Aja, because they're like, shit, we got caught with our pants down, guys. There's one person doing damage against these guys. The rest of us are playing defense right now. The rest of us are trying our best to come together
not
and organize
die.
and to not die. We're surviving. She's up there with the light of like Vora's Sangreal, and she's killing it.
Well, and
Literally.
okay.
Think about it.
So
What is part of the reason why she pushes so much for the link? What does she see, and what does she know about linking? She sees Aes Sedai being shielded and carted off, and she knows that in a link, it is nigh impossible to shield.
Exactly.
And she's like, "Cool, I'm doing that." And this is where we also, it's not where we meet, but we see a very much like to Egwene nod from Adalorna, and who at this point is the Green Aja's general or captain general.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah."
So
You
anytime
know what
you
you're doing.
want to just put
She's
in
like, "Oh, damn."
an application to go ahead and be in the Green Aja, we will accept. No,
You know what? Just write your name on a green piece of paper and leave it anywhere in the tower. You're good.
Literally anywhere. We got you.
no,
It's just like,
and
yeah,
okay.
I would, but I'm the Almerlin, so
You're in.
So okay, there is one thing that I will say about this, because again, my girl Egwene, our girl Egwene, is awesome. I never want to take anything away from Egwene. Egwene is dope. It is also a little weird when we talk about like the linking with the novices, because everybody else is like, oh my god, she like links with novices and accepted, and it's like it's so weird and it's so and you're like, yeah, but she's the one directing the flows.
She got it
She
done.
is dope as shit. And so again, it's one of those things where in Saladar they do this as well. They actually have
Yes.
very powerful Aes Sedai walking around, or at least very strategic and capable Aes Sedai walking around. And then they're linked with a number of other people who don't have any idea what the fuck they're doing. And that's okay. That's actually one of the things that I think people gloss over in some ways with the linking is if you have one person who's like, it's like having Michael Jordan be the only player on the team going up against one other or many other people, but he also has the backing and the strength and the skill of Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and you know, a number of other players, because
the Bulls dream team, baby.
Right, because it doesn't actually matter that fucking Katie over here, who's a novice and has been in the White Tower for like 8 days, but is like a strong enough channeler, doesn't have any goddamn idea how to do a weave to save her life.
Well,
as long as she can link into the link with Egwene can just use her power and not give a fuck that Katie doesn't know how to do anything.
Well, and one of the few things that we know about, so channeling is like one of those things that's kind of vague and ambiguous. There's not really a good quantification for, I can channel X times 5. Well, I can channel X times 7. So therefore, what we're told is that they can kind of sense who's able to channel more, which, and we've already had confirmation that in the TV show, the mechanics have changed. So that's not necessarily the case in the TV show. But what we know,
I'm actually how they sense. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's how they sense other people who can
Sarah confirmed in a tweet that they can only sense another female channeler when they're actively embracing the source.
Yeah,
not whenever they're just standing around.
So we don't know what else has changed about the mechanics.
No more OP power sense.
But what we do know is that in the books, when Egwene links with when she gets a full circle, that ability to channel is increased. I don't want to say at an exponential manner, but I do want to say
it's actually at
increased.
It's logarithmic.
Well, it's thank you. That is a much better
That's
word.
a fancy word. Well, I got a South Carolina public education. What the hell does that mean?
It actually means that it's less than linear. When you actually link with something,
so it doesn't just add 1 and 1, it's like 1 plus 0.8.
Yes, exactly. And so it's logarithmic, where you get a lot more powerful and you can link with a lot of people. And so again, one person who's good running around with 8.0 the power, even though they're linked with 13 like channelers, that's still amaze balls. Also, when you consider the fact that it is according to the rules and what we
better name than disco balls.
Saladar,
amaze balls.
I like it.
Is that it evenly distributes the fatigue among everyone as well. And so that is actually one of the coolest things, is that your best channeler can throw their best shit at whoever is coming at you, and everyone's going to feel it at the same rate. So the one person who's amazing doesn't kill themselves while
Yes.
one, a number of other people are like, nah, whatever. Like, no, it's even distribution of fatigue while it's not quite even distribution of power.
It's a very synergistic relationship while you're within that link. And what we do know is that in scenarios with a full circle, what that does is it makes it nigh impossible to shield anyone who is embracing the source with a full circle, and B, a full circle of women embracing the source can easily shield a man who can channel.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They can easily do a lot of things that a person by themselves could not. So when you start talking about battles, and I love that you brought in Saladar, because Egwene was in Saladar when the bubbles of evil were attacking. And Aes Sedai and Saladar, what did they do? They said, okay, novice and accepted, you are going to learn how to link right now. Because what's going to happen is we're going to have full circles, and we are going to utilize full circles when these bubbles of evil appear so that we can mitigate any damage as quickly as possible. That is a practice that had not been done in the White Tower. Saladar did it out of necessity.
Because they thought they were going to be attacked by the Forsaken. Exactly. And that is a shitty ass thing to think.
So, but they trained for it. Again, the point I'm making here is they trained for it. They actively taught their younger channelers, this is how you do it. This is what you do. This is how you need to perform. And so when Egwene was under attack, for her, it was, I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to call me out, but you're going to understand my point. It was no different facing the Seanchan than it was a bubble of evil in terms of surprise, because they just showed up out of nowhere. Yeah. And then, but the thing that I would say you would disagree with is that the Seanchan, I think Egwene would have a much more emotional response.
I don't disagree with that. And of course, it would be a lot more difficult because when Egwene was in Saladar, she was actually part of a linked circle and everybody else in the circle knew how to do it. And she actually in the White Tower needs to be the head of and teach a number of people on the fly how to do it. So it is infinitely more difficult when she faces the Seanchan than the bubble of evil. But I like what you're bringing up there as the Matt trains his forces every day with the crossbow. Mazrim trains his forces every day with the with the power. Egwene has been training in Saladar for months. This particular tactic, the rapid link response. Yes. And I agree with that completely. And I like the grab back of a lot of the most successful people, and a lot of the most successful battles in the Wheel of Time are built on practice. Yes. They're built on practice.
Weird. It's almost like practicing combat readiness is an effective strategy employed by militaries.
Almost. It's also almost like Robert Jordan had military experience and knew it.
What? No.
All right.
You shut your whole mouth, Daniel.
If Demise Walls is a good example of the middle ground, and the Battle of Tarvalon is a good example of a battle that results from a reaction to an ambush. Let's go the exact opposite side. A battle that was known to be coming by all sides.
Oh, by all sides.
By all sides. Both opposing factions knew the battle was coming and were preparing for it and moving out to meet on the battlefield. Think, I don't know, every cinematic Lord of the Rings battle almost.
The Battle of the Five Armies.
Well, where I'm pulling this, do you remember the actual name for the last stand battle at Manetheren?
Isn't it called Manetherin's Last Stand?
I was about to say.
Nope. I mean,
or is it the Battle of the Manetherendrel or something?
Close. It is the Battle of the Tarandrel River.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And that is a battle where the Shadow knew the Manetheren would stand ready. Manetheren knew,
And
that the
they
shadow
were
was
prepared.
coming.
They knew the shadow was coming. That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a fully, both sides, though not equal sides, are prepared. And it's all, I mean, obviously, the story of Manetheren is heartbreaking because it is like, so Demise Wells is a triumphant story where the good guys win. And the Battle of Tar-Valon is a little bit more 50-50 because the Shan-Chan don't suffer a ton of casualties, only about like 30 Tolrakan that actually get destroyed. And a little bit less members of the Aes Sedai that actually die.
To be fair, Demise Wells is where, the good guys kind of win, but in the end, the Shido aren't decimated. They do go on to do other dumb fucking annoying shit.
They do tactically retreat because
as we said before, as much as I don't want to bring it up again because it is sort of a blot on their record in some ways, Taim doesn't give a fuck about friendly fire, and there are some good guys that get trapped in that meat grinder as well. So again, in the end, it is a triumphant story. I agree with you, but war is hell, so there isn't actually triumph. There's only we came out of this better than we thought, and they came out worse than we thought.
So to bring that to real life, there's a lot more friendly fire that happens in actual modern wars than you will generally ever see publicized, because nobody wants to publish a story about American troops accidentally engaging British or Canadian troops or vice versa. Or
having people still in the line of fire of a drone strike, or
intel is everything on the battlefield.
Which
is a theme we see in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
intel is everything. Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
Yeah, but the Battle of Tarandale River is one of the stories. It is kind of a story of what you think of as a kind of classical fantasy kind of battle. That this just ends with, the quote unquote good guys not winning. But both sides were prepared.
That one's like definitively the good guys.
But it's the tragedy. Weep for me. It really is. Man.
Now, granted, again, this is one of the moments where I will let you finish. I promise, Andrew, in just a moment. But it is one of the interesting things where it is one of the most sad yet triumphant yet whatever stories, because in the end, the good guys lose according to the story. I would love, we're never going to get it, and Robert Jordan didn't actually ever write the battle and things like that, but I would love, if you will, to pick Robert Jordan's brain for a moment about, hey, we all know the story of Manetheren. Moraine tells the story of Manetheren. How do you actually see the battle going? How much shit, how much war is hell, how much friendly fire, how much all of this different stuff do you actually see in this battle? Because I think that would be really interesting, because again, it's a Demise Wells in terms of the fact that it's a meat grinder. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrible. Is it actually just one side versus the other and there's just so much fucking death? Or do you see it a little bit like, I would love to hear Robert Jordan describe the battle, not from Moraine telling the story in The Eye of the World, but from his tell me about the battle. Just tell me what occurs.
I would think that, and again, I want to be very clear here. I am not putting words in the mouth of Robert Jordan. I would never, ever claim to understand what he was saying or what he was thinking. But from my perspective and for my understanding, the Battle of Manetheren does equate to and is similar to the Battle of Thermopylae, which we know from the movie 300, or in the graphic novel.
Sensationalized movie 300.
Right? It was incredibly guys, there were not 300 Spartans there, okay? There were thousands of other Greeks there as well. There were only likely 300 Spartan knights, but they also had their serfs and their servants who were also fighting. There were likely thousands of people at the Hot Gates. The point being, they held out as long as
Put
they
thousands
could.
of people in your hot gates.
Because I'm a slut. Wait, what? Okay, sorry.
What
Hold
response
on.
I was expecting, but that was definitely not it.
It takes 300 to fill that gap. Yes, Ashaman
Can I just
comes
say,
with the wine.
if Josh doesn't already have the role, we need to give him the triple broken crown because that he just broke
All right.
everyone.
All right.
I'm pretty sure all of us have actually broken the other two and also made ourselves laugh, but still.
I broke Marshadi. I broke Marshadi on that one.
Nice.
Oh shit! I know. I got
the
all
trick.
of us with the more robots in our throat than Mondo Maximum.
Yes. Yeah, you got us. You got us good with that one. And we
And
got
it's like,
video
Well,
evidence
and
of that one.
I'm
What-
99.9% sure I've gotten all three of us before. But again, if Josh hadn't before, that
I did it.
was
I done did
fucking
it now.
amazing.
But the Battle of Thermopylae, what are they fighting for? They were fighting to preserve their homeland, but also to buy time. To buy time for people to prepare food and provisions, to prepare survival locations and hidden locations and bunkers, to provide a defense strategy to try and stop the progression of an invading force. In this particular case, Thermopylae was one of several battles that was fought in conjunction with that. There was also a naval battle that was fought. There was a lot that was done. And then later on, there was the Battle of Plataea, which is, again, all of these were a linked series of events that led to a force of few standing against a force of many to defend their homelands. And what do we know about Thermopylae? They ultimately failed.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, they were overrun and killed to the last man.
They didn't, though. They succeeded in their mission. They failed at living.
Okay, that's fair to say. No, you're absolutely right. They 100% succeeded in living and in
just their
providing
mission.
a mental warfare against the invading foe as well.
Yep.
That is an accurate statement.
It's an epic example of psychological warfare.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
We understand you want to take our lands, but we have killed enough of your men, and you don't see any bodies of ours because we're creating the illusion that none of our people died, that we literally built a fucking wall of corpses out of your dudes. That's hardcore. That's like medieval using the trebuchet to launch severed heads into cities to help destroy morale and spread disease.
Sorry, let me actually help you there. It's actually,
I swear to God, if you correct me to catapult, I swear to God.
What I was going to say was, we've killed enough of your men to put a wall of corpse. Sorry, I just had to get my Gerard Butler in there.
That's fair enough. So everybody loves numbers. I have numbers for the forces at the last stand of Manetheren.
Fuck yes.
So on the Trolloc side, you have thousands of ravens.
At this corner, in the blue corner, weighing in at how many fucking Trollocs?
Yeah. So thousands of ravens serving as airborne recon, between 10 to 15 dreadlords, 700 human dark friend company commanders, 7,000 Murdral fist commanders. That's 7,000 fucking Murdral. 100,000 Trolloc archers and 600,000 Trollocs. I'm not really that great at math, but that's like 710,000. Could you imagine a battle of 710,000 people on the forces of the light? In the opposing corner,
in the red corner, weighing in at however many Manetherins,
you have King Aemon.
Yep.
500 elite troops represented by the Band of the Red Hand, the original one, or the previous age one, whatever. 5,000 cavalry troops represented by the Heart Guard. 10,000 archers. Literally what is that, like a tenth?
That's
a tenth of their opposing military. And again, in a tenth, 60,000 veteran troops, veteran infantry, only to be bolstered later by 50,000 late arriving civilians with minimal combat experience.
Yes.
So
at that point, we're talking
50,000.
We're
talking about 10,000 of them wielding fucking frying pans. Like,
this is
get
like
the fuck out of here.
It's just over 100,000 or so troops, all in total, by the end of things. We're
talking
just over
about
100,000.
Minimum 7-1.
Yes.
Yeah, 7-1 ratio.
Probably more like 8-1 if we're
and 50. I mean, if you account for like differences, I would go as much as to say 4-1 ratios. Because the 50,000 that come in later to bolster have minimal to no combat experience.
Oh, that's why I was saying, at least 8-1, because you're talking about civilians coming in and they bolster.
Oh, yeah, I went the wrong way with the ratio. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. But Jesus. Fuck.
Imagine.
Could you imagine looking out on the horizon and seeing over 700,000 troops bearing down on you?
Well, and again, some fucking Morshadi put in the chat something also kind of important. Trollocs are not well trained. They're not. And honestly, if
they
you
are
actually
bred for combat.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that if you put one human versus one Trolloc, as far as intelligence and tactics, the human has it all over the Trolloc, because the Trollocs are not bred to be intelligent. They're not bred to be tactical. They're not bred to be good at just about anything except for strength and just war.
And endurance.
Strength and endurance and war. And that's what
they have
do.
proficiency in their strength and con saving throws.
Yeah, 100%. And so again, you're looking at maybe the veteran soldiers, maybe at best. The veteran soldiers are a match for the Trollocs because they're less strong, but they're smarter. Yeah. But then you bring in the civilians. Trollocs are just twice as strong civilians. That's what they are. That's absolutely.
Let's use a show us perspective. So how many Trollocs does Perrin take down?
Civilians? Like,
let's use a show as a good example.
25,000 Trollocs.
How many Trollocs does Perrin take down before he takes down the last? Oh wait, no, sorry, that wasn't a Trolloc. So that's like 2-1 ish ratio from an untrained but still, fit kind of person.
Yes.
So I would say
it takes like somebody that is them to take out one Trolloc when Deus Conger does her epic feast on this dickwad.
So that might even out to around a 1-1 or slightly under a 1-1 ratio with favor going to the Trollocs. But you take the veterans, and it's probably closer to one veteran taking out 3 to 4 Trollocs.
Even still, I think that's high.
Tactics triumph over brute strength and endurance a lot. Because they survived 13 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's the Wheel of Time Hanukkah. It's not because they were. I think
Manetheren veteran troops could have taken at least 3 to 4 to 1.
So here's the thing.
Fair enough.
I mean, they would have been exhausted for sure, but
when
and that's what I was going to start with, as far as yes, tactics absolutely matter, but once you take out your second Trolloc, when you're on your third Trolloc, you're already tired and
getting a little stuffed.
Your
I mean,
efficacy
Also,
is diminished.
now you also
Trolloc
have to
have
fight
numbers.
a Murdral as well. Like you have to take out 7 Trollocs and a Murdral for every single soldier at
But if
minimum.
you do take out a Murdral, you potentially take out a lot of Trollocs depending on how
I
they're
hear what
associated.
you're saying, and I appreciate the shit out of that particular statement.
I mean,
But
it doesn't matter.
also-
They lost anyway, but I mean,
they were
they
overrun.
They,
The-
as we've been talking about in
point
live chat,
being-
it was a Fryic victory.
The
Because
point
Manetheren
being-
Shadi suck a
people lived
dick.
on.
Talmatis is amazing. You can go away.
Talmatis did it. Fates, no problem. No, the important thing to remember, there's 2 very important things to remember, is that 1, a battle for the most part is won or lost in the weeks and months beforehand of how well trained your force is, how well prepared and how well outfitted your force is. Okay. Number 1, that's what any good military tactician should be doing to give their people the best chance of survival and victory.
And
Okay.
whether Robert Jordan actually understood that to a deep foundational degree or not, he wrote it in the story, and that is true. I don't even have military experience. Both of these guys do. I don't. And I know that to be true regardless of the fact that I've never been in the military whatsoever. Again, while the truth of the matter is your plan only exists as long as right up until the point where the first arrow is shot or the first, charge is led or whatever. Fuck, does preparation make the difference on so many levels?
Which leads me to my second point about battles, is that everything changes. And there are some scenarios in which, guys, it doesn't matter how well you're prepared or how well trained or how well outfitted your unit is. Unit. You could be like Manetheren. Manetheren was mighty. The forces of Manetheren struck fear into the heart of the Dark One and the Shadow Spawn, which is why they attacked in force. And Manetheren held out for as long as they did because they were prepared, because they were well trained. But in the end, they were overrun, and it's a tragedy. It is the same tragedy of the Greek forces losing at the Battle of Thermopylae, but the impact that they made in the long run. I mean, fast forward 1,000 years later after the Trolloc Wars, and the Shadow Spawn still remember the name of the Band of the Red Hand and the Red Eagle of Manetheren, and they still fear it.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Aemon the Wise?
It's not a story
best-
Agenor would tell you.
Best translation ever.
I love it.
When it comes down to battles in the Wheel of Time, my final thoughts are that
And we only talked about 3. I'm sorry.
we only
It's your
talked
final
about 3.
thoughts.
Yeah.
It's your final thoughts, not
No,
my
no.
final thoughts.
No, I was gonna go there though, but it was like Robert Jordan wrote battles in such a way that we all are reading and wanting more, and it's because he did it in a way that is, oh God, bear with me here for a second. He did it in his way that's realistic. Yes, I know his battles include magic and monsters and things like that, but the tactics are very much the same across the board. And he does a really great job of portraying the emotion of the commanders, the training and preparation of the successful commanders, especially with highlighting a group of characters known as the 5 great captains, who are known for their battle prowess, who are known to keep their forces primed and ready to go at all times. And we see Davram Bashir, Daddy Davram, becoming the great captain of the Dragonsworn, the Legion of the Dragon. And it's largely due, and that's what he had them doing out there every day, drilling and training and drilling and training and drilling and training, not knowing the outcome of the battle, knowing that there was no guarantee of victory. He still had them out there training and drilling and training and drilling. And Robert Jordan wrote battles in a really great way, because when the battles came, you had forces that had already trained and prepared for those battles. And I think that's a really unique perspective that we don't get in a lot of fantasy literature. And I'm going to close on that.
I like it. Andrew, what do you think? What are your finale thoughts?
Oh man, I mean, so I really like the idea that we did here, that we didn't plan on, and I might have just enforced it to happen, but who knows? I don't. It was still fun either way. Of looking at a battle where both sides are fully prepared, as much as they can be, and seeing how the tactics kind of went and how that went, and of course it's like a mythical story, which is kind of tantamount to all of these last stand stories of the victors. The ultimate victors are generally these last stand stories that are of triumph. I mean, the enemy sides have the same stories. There are German soldiers from World War II that tell about, their last stand on the beaches of Normandy. And it's still an epic tale. They're just on the wrong side of history. And the same thing happens here. The main thing is, and I'm pulling a bit from, military training, is the differences that combat can have, from these battles can have, whenever the rough size and time frame of your enemy arriving, to having a general idea, but just happening upon your enemy, all the way to either surprising or being surprised by your enemy. And all three of those, and those are still very broad kind of spectrums to talk about when it comes to battle, incorporate a bunch of different tactics and a bunch of different strategies. And again, like Josh has said time and time again, I know Daniel has said it time and time again too, nothing ever lasts past first engagement. Everything changes whenever the first, swords clash or whatever. But part of what makes the Wheel of Time battles so engaging and so believable is the fact that they are so dynamic. They are so diverse. There are so many different things that happen and so many different point of views that happen, where it's hard to not be invested in what's going to happen in a battle, even if it's a story of a battle that happened, ages and ages ago. It is still interesting to read. It still pulls in the reader, and it's one of the things I love. And Robert Jordan definitely understood it. Fighting in the wars that he did, or war, because he was in Vietnam, right? Yeah, he was a helicopter gunner in Vietnam, or was it Korea?
I thought it was Korea.
Oh God. I do not remember
this up now. Fuck.
It was Nam.
Was it Nam?
Right. Okay. It was Nam.
Copy. Yeah. All right. Cool.
So a situation like Manetheren, I can definitely see Robert Jordan as a helicopter gunner looking at a situation where they're being overrun by the Viet Cong, and that being his later inspiration for, the last stand of Manetheren. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really cool, and you'd be surprised how much information is actually out there about each of the named battles, not just every other battle. Like, go and read some of the information that's out there for them, and then go and reread the chapters where they happen or they're discussed, and you'll enjoy it.
Yes. Agreed.
What have you to say there, Danielle?
Not more than I've already said, probably. I think that the reason that I have always loved the battles in the Wheel of Time is that most of the time in television series, movies, books, I have found that more often than not, I know how the battle's going to end. It's telegraphed from the beginning. Usually you kind of know most of the variables, and in the end, most writers, not all, and not in every case, but most writers that I have experienced telegraph where the battle is going to be and give you the variables beforehand. Let everything play out up until the point where it's going to go this way, and then add a variable. For example, you have a situation where, these two armies are exactly evenly matched. They're fighting. One group has a little bit of extra. They end up going out and being a little extra. Okay, cool. Army X looks like they're going to win. Oh, wait, they actually are reinforced by, neighboring country. Okay, well, now they're absolutely going to win the battle. And there's no question. Wait, then this happens. And one of the reasons that I actually have always appreciated Robert Jordan is that he doesn't fully play out everything that he talks about. He introduces variables, let them play out for a certain amount of time, and then introduces a new one. And almost always, I am curious in my own head, which makes the battle more dynamic for me personally, and I imagine many other people. But what would have happened if we had seen that fully play out? Would Rand have won the battle had X not shown up? Would Rodell have won the battle if X hadn't showed up? Would Tar Valon have been completely decimated if Egwene hadn't gone ahead and done what she did? There are many things that happen before you fully play out the situation. And it's the 11th hour. And that's actually, as I said, one of the reasons that I feel the battles in the Wheel of Time are extremely dynamic, because there isn't a wait until the last minute to introduce the saving force. You do it when it feels right. He does it when it feels like it would actually happen. It always happens before you actually feel like it needs to. And I love that because, again, I have never truly been in a combat situation myself, but I feel like very rarely does it happen where right at the last second reinforcements arrive, or right at the last second does something change. I definitely, from what I've heard from people who've been in combat, from what I've heard from many histories of combat, from all of that different stuff, battle is constantly changing. And you rarely get the moment where, everything's going to go to shit unless this happens. It happened? Great. Or, it didn't happen? Great, then we're fucked. Like, it almost always happens before that moment. And that's why I think that I feel like the Wheel of Time battles are just so dynamic, is that Robert Jordan doesn't wait. Robert Jordan introduces those before it feels like they need to happen. And I love that mystery. I love that piece of the puzzle, because I am definitely for not waiting until you're about to put in the very last, second on the bomb, the very last, troop is destroyed, all of that different stuff. And he even does that because there is like the Rodell All-Day fight and things like that. It happens because, of course, again, that is also real life. We've all experienced the 11th hour save, but it's not most of the time. Most of the time it's the 9th hour, the 10th hour, not the 11th. And I have always appreciated that about battles in the Wheel of Time.
Absolutely. Well,
I would agree.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. You know what time it is. It's time for us to wrap this up. We know you would love to listen to us.
It's actually time for us to wrap this up like 15 minutes ago.
But
we love you and we wanted to give you extra content.
Just know that before the day is through, you should go to blacktowerpod.com. You should go to crystalbarista.com. And you should go to thegreatblight.com. You should go to all three of them. Also,
and newcreationsbyjen.com.
And newcreations
and WoTCon.com. Just go to all the .coms. See what's out there on the internet.
Don't go to all the .coms. That's so many .coms.
But
Oh,
no,
what's the
thank
worst
you
that
for
could
being
happen?
here. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. Thank you for lining up for your weekly dose of madness. We hope that you're just a tiny bit more mad than you were when you first came here. Thank you so much for listening. And super shout out to the Tweeter of Chaos. Thank you so much for including us in the watch party soiree that you guys throw every week. And guys,
party.
be sure to tune in to each content creator's watch party. It is never a disappointment. It is always super fun. And you're going to be exposed to some really great content creators that way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. That's all I have to say. I'm just going to tell you right now, I have been Josh, your Sora von Mihail.
And I don't have anything else to really say. So I guess
Don't do it.
like
Don't.
when you
Thank
look
God.
at the overall scope of podcast and the way that people sign out, I guess it's the point where like I say like my name and I've been so and so.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Say
much
what
it.
you need to say. Say what
Yeah.
you need to say.
Do what you want. Do what you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
What you want with my body. Do what you want.
So that we can wrap this up, instead of making some shitty joke about so and so, I have been your Bajan Mahal, Andrew.
And we do want to give one last shout out to all of our Patreons who joined this month. We do apologize for the length of time in which it took us to shout you out, but that's just how important you are to us. You guys are dope. We are super thankful for everyone who listens, to everyone who's a Patreon, and to everyone who contributes, whether it be our Discord, whether it be the Patreon, whether it be anything. We love you guys. And I know that we say that every week, but it's 100% true. The reason that we say it every week is not because it's a rote. It's not because it's routine. It is because we truly believe every word we say. But from all of us here at the Black Tower, I have been your Amin Khan Mahale, Daniel, and we thank you so much for being here, every single listener. And we hope that your morning is going amazing. And in quick case we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
You've been having so much trouble just fitting in.